Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you how I manifested my dream job and how you can too. And all of the crazy stuff that happened on my journey to get there. It's wild. So anyway, stick around because if you are trying to manifest something and you hit walls or life sucks at the moment, hang on, because everything happens for a reason. And when I tell you what happened, you'll see why I say that. Okay, so I thought I would open a bakery and make cupcakes, banana bread, stuff like that, right? So going along, because of a turn of events in my life with my ex-husband, I went from working from home to having to go get a job. Well, the sheriff at the time in the town that I worked in kept telling me, I want you to come to work for me. Because of my history as an animal control officer, he knew my work ethic and all of that. And he kept telling me, I want you to come to work for me. So, okay, now I'm in a situation where my husband and I are getting ready because of family situations out of our control. We're looking at the potential of having to file bankruptcy. So I have to go get a job. So I go to the sheriff's office, not really wanting to work as a deputy, but you do what you got to do, right? So I go through the academy. Now I am 46 years old at this point, right? One of the last things you want to do at that point in your life is go through a freaking academy. The academy, I'm going to be flat out honest, sucked. I came home I would tell my husband, I'm 46. Don't talk to me like I'm 3. And for any of you that have gone through an academy, you get it. You understand what I'm saying. However, that's not me. Okay. But I go through the academy. One thing leads to another. I obviously graduate the academy. I start working. The lieutenant that I worked for also wanted me to come to work there with her. So I end up working at the sheriff's office for the sheriff that wanted to hire me, for the lieutenant that wanted me to work. And as soon as I graduate the academy and start working, it's like nothing I do is right. She hates me, and I can't figure out why. So anyway, and this goes back to, as far as I can tell, this is where the whole thing that I said yesterday in my video, my limiting belief of everything happens for everybody but me, started. But it led to my end result, which was positive. So anyway, because everything I did was wrong. Everybody got to run a court except for me. Everybody got to, I can't remember what all else, but there were like everything happened for everybody but me. Oh, when I was in the academy, people I knew all of a sudden stopped talking to me. They would greet everybody as they came in the morning. Good morning, so-and-so. Good morning, so-and-so. I get to the door. They turn their head until I walk by, and then they talk to the next person. And I'm like, what the hell? Anyway, so again, that is where everything happens to, and I know for some of you this sounds trivial, but hang on. So I'm working now as a deputy, right? Don't ask me what. Something happens and they punish me. So I'm still baking, kind of hit and miss, and I still want to open a bakery. Okay. So I'm kind of playing at it, and it's getting to the point where more people are asking me to bake stuff. So I told my husband, I said, I need to certify my kitchen because to bake commercially, you have to have a certified kitchen at home. So I'm going through this process of trying to certify my kitchen. Well, in this process, I get in trouble for what? I still don't know. They put me on the door in circuit court, which is the most boring part of the job you could ever have. So what does Pam do? Pam takes lemons and makes lemonade because you're going to stick me here and not tell me why I'm here? Okay, I'm going to use this time for me. I did my job, but I did my paperwork to get my kitchen certified. So I would do the research, do all the paperwork that I needed to do. So I used my punishment for my benefit. So did it suck? Yes, but I used it to my advantage. Okay. So a good thing came out of it because I get off the door. They send me on a transport. I get held up, and at a jail, my sergeant calls me. He said, Pam, where are you? And I said, I'm at X point. I'm heading back. And he's like, you got to be in court in a half hour. I was like, there's no way I can make it. I'm like 45 minutes out. And I have to drop this inmate off at the jail. And he said, you need to do what you need to do to get there. Well, that was a mistake. Because telling me to do what I needed to do, I did what I needed to do. Excuse me. I walked in court 1 minute early. Needless to say, I got in trouble for that one too. I told him, I said, when I walked in the door, I said, I'm here, I'm a minute early, and if you get phone calls, I don't want to hear about it. Yeah, he was pretty pissed with me that day. So anyway, that put me in the street for 2 weeks. Now remember, the time before being in trouble, I did all my paperwork to certify my kitchen. Being in the street for 2 weeks, I had, it gave me 2 weeks to get my kitchen ready. And I thought it was going to be a long process, right? Now, I have the ladies come from the Department of Agriculture. They come out, they look at my kitchen, and I said, okay, well, what's the next step? And she said, start baking. I was like, seriously? And she said, yeah, your kitchen is like spotless. It's better than most kitchens that we see. Start baking. I was like, okay. So meanwhile, I'm still getting orders, right, to bake things and all this kind of stuff. Well, my 2 weeks are getting ready to be up. So I go back and I told my husband, I said, this is it. I'm leaving the sheriff's office. I'm going to bake. My kitchen's certified. I've got a bunch of orders. So I went back and gave them my 2 weeks notice. The crazy thing, the day I went back, now when they put you in the street, they take everything. They took my car, they took my duty belt, they took everything, right? So I go back to work, to go to work, and I'm turning in my 2 weeks notice, which was ironic because they couldn't even find my gun. They're like, Pam, we don't even know where your gun is. We took it from you and put it somewhere. We don't even know where it is. I'm like, it's okay. Keep it. Because I quit. So anyway, so all of that punishment, all of that stuff, all of that happened. Did I intentionally do any of it? No. It happened. However, it got me out of a job. It wasn't the job that I didn't like. The job I enjoyed. it was the bullshit I had to deal with in the process from my lieutenant and whoever got their panties in a wad because I did something that upset them, that put me on the door. So, whatever. So, like I said, it was a chain of events that I could sit and look at it as negative. And while it sucked at the time, positive things came out of it. So that's why I'm telling you, if you're trying to make something happen and something bad comes up or some roadblock comes up or whatever, don't let that stop you. Have laser focus on what you want and know that it will happen. So now I'm baking at home, which was fine because the weekend after I turned in my notice, if I had not quit, I would not have had enough time to fill all the orders that I had for that weekend. I mean, my kitchen counters were covered with cakes and cupcakes and all that kind of stuff because I had so many orders at this point. Okay. So then time's going by, I'm baking from home, I'm doing really well. And I told my husband, I said, I want to open a shop. And he's like, okay. So we're going through, and every place I go, I'm looking for a shop. I would have people just not even call me back. I would have them tell me it was astronomical prices that these people wanted for rent. And it was like I kept hitting roadblocks, but I still wanted to open a shop. Okay. So one day, just out of the blue, I drove into a town near my house, and there happened to be an empty store. And I called the guy, and I mean, this is like months that have gone by. Okay. And I called the guy. The store was available. It was perfect. He gave me 30 days to do the build out. And the rent was like half of what everything else was. So everything fell into place. Everything happened for a reason. It was like the perfect shop for me. I got to do exactly what I really wanted to do. Because I will tell you, the first 3D cake I did, one of the girls that I worked with at Animal Control, she said, Pam, I know your stuff is really good, but I want something different. I don't just want a cake for my son's birthday. She said, I want something creative. And I said, oh, okay. I mean, at this point, all I had done is the Wilton icing classes where you make flowers. I swore if I had to make another flower, I'd probably slit my wrist. I hated making flowers. So anyway, she sends me this picture of a cake that she wants me to make. I have no idea how I'm going to pull this off. So I Googled it and I went and bought fondant and I started molding and shaping this fondant into these sea creatures. And I had the best time. And I told my husband then, and now I'm like into my 40s, right? I told him, I said, I finally know what I want to be when I grow up. I said, I want to decorate cakes like this. That was where the journey for that started because it was my passion. I could have been in the worst mood. If I started decorating a cake, it all went away. It all went away. I got in a zone. I got in the flow. I got in a flow state. And it just, people would ask me, how did you create that? I don't know. It just happened. Don't ask me to recreate it. But I got it. So that was where the bakery journey started. Then all that other stuff came into play. And then I went from 3D, like birthday cakes and graduation cakes and stuff like that, to doing wedding cakes. which really wasn't where my passion was. It's where the money was, but it wasn't where the passion was. So that led me to closing my business. However, I had my bakery for I had my bakery for like 10 years. I had my store for 3. I got to live my passion. That passion. Now I have a new passion, which is helping you guys. I mean, if you, again, find what brings you joy. When you work your passion, you don't work. I loved going to my shop. I loved baking and decorating, and it wasn't so much the baking, it was the And the crazy thing, I never made a loaf of banana bread. Here I thought I was going to open a shop and make banana bread. No, I never made banana bread. I was so busy making everything else, and everybody just wanted cakes and cupcakes and stuff like that, which was fine because that's where the artwork was. So, yeah. But the journey to get there was a bumpy one. It wasn't smooth, but I knew what I wanted. And I was driven to make it happen. And when it lines with your purpose, and the fact that I would get in such a zone, a creative zone that connected me to God, to source, because I swear that's the only reason I was able to pull off some of the artwork that I did. Because they would bring me a picture of what they wanted, or they would, tell me what they wanted. And I would be like, okay, having no clue how I was going to make it happen. And I would sit there with fondant in my hands, like, I don't even know where to begin. And I would just start molding, and I would start shaping, and it would just happen. It was divine. It literally was divine. So when it's meant to happen, it will happen. And I don't get caught in the minutia of, how am I going to make this happen? How am I going to afford it? How am I going to, because to think about how many cakes I had to make to pay the rent and all the utilities at my shop, it stressed me out. I'm like, no, I don't care. I'm just going to make it work. I'm just going to bake. And because I didn't get bogged down in the details, I did what I enjoyed doing. I had more business than I could handle. And I made way more than what I needed to pay the bills. It was amazing. So, like I said, if you have a passion, whether it's a bakery, I don't care what it is, whatever your passion is, be laser focused. Don't let people tell you you can't do it. Don't let people tell you you're crazy. Don't let the haters make you hate. Just do you and be happy. And that was how I got to have my dream bakery. That's how I manifested my dream bakery. My dream job was to have a bakery where I could make work for me. Again, step out of the matrix. That's what we're supposed to do, is you work for you. You don't work for somebody else. That was where I began kind of. I never really was in the matrix in that regard. But Step out of the matrix. Work your passion, and you will be richer than probably anybody you know. And it's not all about the money. Because when you work for you, you have freedom to decide when you go on break, when you take vacation, how much business you take in. You know, you don't work your fingers to the bone because it's never enough. If you choose to do that, that's fine. I worked harder for me than I would have for anybody. But it was because it wasn't work. I enjoyed doing it. So anyway, if this resonates with you, if this helps you at all, click the like button, subscribe to my channel. You know, like I said, the journey was not an easy one. It was fun. I went out with a bang, not literally bang, but I didn't shoot anybody. They treated me like I shot somebody. I had fun. The guy I picked up at the jail had fun. I got to the jail and he was like, man. But I got to court on time. He was like, that was the best ride I've ever had. I'm like, thanks. That was probably what saved my ass. However, anyway, yeah. I wish you guys the best. Anything is possible when you put your mind to it and you don't let people tell you no. You know, don't let the people that choose to be stuck in 3D keep you in 3D. Bust out. You just go do whatever it is you want to do. So, and you know, when I talk about living in heaven, that is heaven. Being able to have freedom. You know, is it always peaches and cream? No. Is it always a bed of roses? No. But you learn that the thorns are there for a reason. You get a sour peach every now and then, or a squishy peach every now and then, or sour milk. You deal with it and you move on, and you know that, you know what, it's just a thing. I'll get through it. That's where I am. That's where my husband is. So anyway, I hope this helps you. It was fun. Now I'm on my next journey because I'm not doing the bakery anymore. And yeah, the next one, same thing. It's not an easy road, running into obstacles. We were supposed to go look at a house Friday and something came up. And I told him, I said, you know what? I look at this as the people that didn't call me back for those shops that I called about. They didn't call me for a reason because there was a better one out there for me. We're not going to go look at this house this weekend for a reason. Because there's a better one out there for us. And it's okay. Does it suck? Yeah, kinda, because it's a nice house. We want to go look at it. We were excited. But there's one that's even better. Just always remember that. Always. If it doesn't happen, it's for a reason. And there's something better. I want this or better. Always tell yourself that. So anyway, have an amazing day. I'm sending you guys lots of love. I had fun posting this video because I didn't tell you the whole story, but I think you kind of get the gist. I had fun. That's the first time I've told that story. So anyway, lots of love.